So the Joker came out last night. A bunch of people are.
Anyone die yet?
Not yet.
Come on. This is literally what the media's doing. Come on. Shoot someone.
Well, it's funny you say that because the media is the one that's doing it.
Every movie theater right now in America in a major city has some kind of local affiliate CBS or NBC van out in front of it, and some overworked local correspondent. And you can overhear him going, "Nope, not yet. Nope, no. As soon as we know something, we'll let you know. We're waiting. Don't worry."
So the media has for a good while been trying to push this. Something bad's going to happen. However, that started to backfire on them. I don't know if you've noticed that how much people are like normies. We're not talking about, us or other people. Normies are like, actually, you guys are kind of doing this.
Yes.
Nothing's happened yet. You're supposed to report the news, not like, hope for the news to happen. And they could act like, well, of course we don't want that to happen. Yeah, you do. In a little bit. It's somewhere deep down inside. These media types love this shit.
They love all of this stuff. They love coups. They love overthrown governments where people die in the streets. They love shootings.
Well, hold on.
They love 9/11. They love this shit. They live for it. It's like a doctor saying, "I hate the common cold. Can't stand it. I wish we could eradicate the flu from this planet." It's like, well, then you wouldn't have.
So now that it backfired on them, now they're trying to be cool. And they're shifting the blame. Watch this. This is going to be... Oh, you're going to love this. Vice.
The film...
Well, Gavin started this company.
I already see this fucking title.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's check it out.
The film Joker opens tomorrow, and it looks great. Having Joaquin Phoenix play the beloved Batman villain seems like the best idea in the genre since having Heath Ledger play him back in 2008. But the buzz around the opening probably isn't exactly what Warner Brothers was hoping for. That's because the movie's been spun as the first incel biopic.
What?
By who?
By whom?
Who's doing it? No. Who's doing it?
But also,
I really hope she's talking into a mirror because Vice has been the same ones that have been pumping this little rumor. You guys take any one little joke or anything and make it into a national sensation.
But
the reason more people are making jokes about it, we said it on yesterday's show, is because you've made it into such a mainstream thing.
But
everyone's joking about it now.
One thing came first.
Yeah.
It wasn't the media covered. The media hype came first.
Yes.
The only Joker memes were like people going like, "I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the N-word." Like there was a lot of those. There's a lot of goofy shit posting about this movie. Like there has been some of the funniest memes. But they didn't really start doing the whole shooting memes until you assholes hyped it. And then people started taking pictures of themselves like with an AR in a parking lot going, "One ticket to Joker, please." Like, you did this. Like, you did this.
You're the one that pushed all this
The
stuff.
internet's always going to look at anything, no matter how dark, and go, "It'd be pretty funny if you get a picture of an AR and go, 'One ticket for Joker, please.'" Pretty funny. Like, you know what I mean? But they didn't start doing that when the movie was announced, when there was a teaser trailer. It has been, how many months now, would you say? At least a month and a half, 2 months of pure, you're going to get murdered
hysteria
by an incel.
Hysteria.
This is like levels of, I said a couple weeks ago, this is like satanic panic of the 90s when we were, remember when like your parents were going through your fucking CDs? My parents were going through all my shit because they thought we were all in these dungeons. Remember when Dungeons and Dragons, like, I don't know if you get, because my mom was terrified. She had the leftover.
The satanic stuff.
She had the leftover 80s satanic panic. She never quite let go. She's always been a fan of the genre, the franchise. And then the Marilyn Manson stuff came. And I got caught with Antichrist Superstar, and you would have thought I fucking started World War III.
Yeah.
At no point, I was an angry little shit, but at no point did I listen to Marilyn Manson and go like, "All right, I have to murder people." Clearly, murdering people is the thing that's been missing from my life. No, you just listen to it, and you're a little edgy boy, and you're like, "Whoa, upside down crosses, whoa, and whoa, pentagrams, whoa, dance with the devil, baby." But you're like a 13-year-old little asshole. That's all that is. And
buy your clothes from Hot Topic.
But the dude, the West Memphis 3. I'm sure Eddie Vedder's never let you forget.
I'm sorry. sorry. That was a Pearl Jam song, right?
No, it was a Pearl Jam concept.
Oh,
album.
you would think so because of how much he fucking talked about it on stage during
I'd like
concerts.
to talk about the West Memphis 3 and bring them out on stage. Could you just play music, please? I paid $295 for this ticket.
Yeah, for the love
Even
of
though you
God.
guys tour relentlessly, could you play some music? But it was in the 90s. It was West Memphis 3. There was like, you can go back and just type in Satanic Panic in 90s. And I mean, every news thing, every local affiliate was like, Judas Priest and how it's turning your son into a baby rapist murderer.
Yep.
Your son's going to sacrifice babies to Moloch. And then they looked it up and they're like, there's some edgy boys, but they're downstairs, the rolling 10-sided die.
Yeah.
And they're going, okay, so my level 17 orc, I don't know why it's Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
My level 17 orc will bloody smash you. And it's just a bunch of guys like a bunch of Jordan Peterson, Stefan Molyneux types, just sharing tales of getting stuffed in lockers while they go, oh, magic missile. Like this is the same playbook. Before that, it was Negroes and marijuana. Are they impregnating your daughter? More at 11. Like there's always something.
Spoiler alert, they were.
They are and still are.
Yes.
And still were. But it's the same blueprint, and every couple of years they're like, what are people really worked up about? You want to get everybody kicked into a fucking panic, get a couple Pulitzers, scrape up a bunch of money, and just leave. And then, so what? Maybe some people get shot in a theater. That's not on us. That's on those sickos.
Right.
Been spun as the first incel biopic. To refresh your memory, incel stands for involuntarily celibate. Aggrieved male virgins bearing that mantle have become notorious mass murderers in the last few years.
You created the term, you created the categorizations, you created the hysteria. They did all of this, Royce.
Listen, there was a small subset of people online that were calling themselves incels. It wasn't huge. I remember this. It wasn't huge. It was a small subset of people on Reddit and shit like that were in 4chan that were calling them incels, whatever. It didn't get burst, and this is perfect. This is Vice. It didn't blow up on the scene until Vice, and we played it on this show, until Vice didn't do not like a 5-minute segment, a 30-minute entire episode of Vice News on HBO, and we played a bunch of it on the show. You did this. You made it cool. And now what's happening is you can't differentiate the shit posters, it's like the title of this video, from actual fucking like real incels. You know what I mean? Do you understand? You create this environment, right? And then people start mocking it and poking fun at it. And it's a weird cycle. And then all that happens is there'll be a new group that comes out of it. And dude, 4chan made this got this, and they even said up front, hey, this is a joke. We're fucking with them. Turn this into a white supremacist symbol, which is acknowledged by the ADL. You guys do this. You built this. And now wait till you see the turn here, because the title of this video, for those of you who don't know, Incel Shitposts are making people nervous about the Joker premiere.
Last month, the US Army circulated an internal memo based on an FBI warning citing potential incel violence at an unnamed theater during opening weekend. After the official Joker trailer dropped in April, members of a popular incel forum started threads about the film. The posts were originally responses to people on social media and film critics who were likening.
See, there was the joke that was going around, like, Joker writer's room making him an incel. He's an incel. And of course, it did start as a joke.
Incels to Phoenix's Joker. They parsed the trailer for similarities. The protagonist is a lonely white male, beaten down by society.
Why? They really? Could you imagine if we just kept focusing on the blackness of people all the time on the show?
Oh, we wouldn't have a show.
But like Vice is like a reverse Colin Flaherty.
Yeah.
You know, like that Colin Flaherty guy that's always like, well, it's the blacks. And you know what it is every time. No matter what you say, you go, did you hear like last week? Yeah, there was a garden festival here in Central Florida, and somebody was killed in the parking lot. Yeah, well, it was probably a black. And you're like, probably not at the garden festival. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything is a black guy. These guys, it's just white men, skinny little white guys are going to kill us all.
And something else Do you know how many movies that's been the theme of the movie? Some dude who gets down on his luck. That's a lot of movies.
All the movies that this movie ripped off of.
Yeah,
Were
exactly.
about that theme.
Yeah.
King of Comedy, Taxi Driver. These are all movies about a guy who's on the fringe, who's alone, who's not crushing puss, as Brendan Schaub says, and they snap. But like that's a common theme in history.
Yeah, no, but it's been used. I mean, what about Falling Down?
God, that was a good
No,
one.
but you could go down the list. There's a lot of movies that's the thing. Somebody's down under. It's almost like it's been a really great writing device, for a lot of things historically.
It's almost like they're interesting, multifaceted characters.
You know who else was down on his luck after he left the military? John Rambo. Like again, it's just a device.
I think we can agree though that John Rambo was a criminal and needed to be dealt with.
Wow, man, that cop really overreacted in that movie. Like he was really, really just being mean for no reason.
I get it, but Rambo hurt and killed a lot of cops, though. So, was the cop wrong?
Well, see, that's the media. There we go. We just figured it out.
Was the cop wrong?
This is exact
because he did eventually snap and start. They weren't wrong. They got to look at Rambo and they said, "This white male incel, he's a problem," and then he proved their point.
Oh my God! So you're saying, if I'm saying this correctly, that the cops are Antifa in this scenario,
The heroes, yes,
the heroes, and like white men are Rambo?
all white men, yes.
Do they know that Rambo's played by an Italian?
And Anna Sarkeesian, or the feminist chick.
Oh yeah.
She is the David Caruso character.
Really?
Yeah, she gets just whipped into a snare and ruined.
Okay. Let's continue this.
Check. He appears to live with his mother. Check. He seems to be interested in a woman who rejects his affections. Triple check.
Okay. But you just described men, like people. Forget even men. That lives with his mother. A lot of people live with their mother. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people live with their mother, especially if you're younger.
Also, in this movie, she's sick and he's taking care of her.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of weird. Like to me, there's this, and that happens all the time. That happened with me when my mom got sick. I was the only one in the family that could go back, stay with her, and take care of her.
Right.
And you're in your mid-20s. You've been living on your own since you were like 17, and you come back, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you living with your mom? You doing stand-up comedy?" And you're like, "Well, no, it's," you know what I mean? Somebody had to come back. I'm not coming in and being like, "Hey, why isn't there any Raisin Bran Crunch? You said you were going to go get Raisin Bran Crunch." You know what I mean? Like, you're there to help. In this movie, he's taking care of his sick, dying mom.
But many incels weren't happy with the comparison, saying it was just more proof that so-called normies saw them as monsters. The post started to invoke real-world parallels in early September, when someone on the incel forum asked, "Will the movie Joker inspire people to go ER?" That's a reference to their figurehead, Elliot Rodgers, who killed 6 people in 2014 as revenge for sexual rejection.
Let's get something.
But see, here's the thing. This story that you're talking about, right? This story that you're talking about was contained to, by your very own words, to a small internet community, right? Now it's on Vice, and it's on HuffPo, and it's on CBS, and it's on NBC, and it's everywhere you turn. So maybe, just maybe, you're the ones that are elevating anything. You are making this a huge deal, and it hasn't even happened yet. I used to remember when the news would be like, "Oh, look, this person died. They died on this day. They must have." Now they're so hungry for clicks, for this fucking just click farming. They're so hungry for it that they're going to write a story about a shooting that hasn't happened yet.
But they have to make money.
No, they don't really.
They got to make money.
Something else I've noticed ever since Obama's little fund the fucking media thing that he $1 billion that he pulled, ever since that ended and it wasn't renewed. Vice, when we started this show, before their money was pulled, Vice had Vice News, Vice, Broadly, and another Vice one, right? The only one that's still consistently posting new clips is Vice News. They don't have money for the broadly one.
The other
The
divisions.
female power one is not getting anything.
What's the other one too? Sports Illustrated, whoever's that owner is, ESPN or whatever. They're all fucking. All these media companies are hurting because even they went woke. Like you just tune into CNN or ESPN, or you turn look at the swimsuit edition had that fat pig on the cover, and then now it's like you turn into ESPN and they're like, yeah, all right, Saints Steelers coming up this week, but first President Trump, why is he a menace to the NFL? Skip, you want to go first? It's like what?
You're right though.
What the fuck? I want to watch football box scores. I want to know how the Montreal Expos did.
I just saw that the other day. Dan Lebitard, who's on ESPN, the one that does a show with his old Cuban dad, started just ripping on Trump and on how he's racist and how he's this and that. And I started thinking to myself, I go, your entire show is laughing at your dad, not with your dad, laughing at your dad because of his thick accent.
Remember Dan Patrick?
Yes, he still does a show, his own radio show.
But I mean, you remember that guy was the gold standard of our generation of ESPN. It was just, you're here, we're hanging for about an hour, we're gonna shoot the shit about sports. That's all. It's just weird. Every channel now, you flip through, you watch an SVU episode, and they're like, I know, this is how it is in Trump's America. Pom pom, and you're like, can I get something? And then they finally make a movie that's just like, hey, we're gonna go back. Look, I know we don't have any new ideas, but hey, Joker, you guys like Joker? What if we got Scorsese and Todd Phillips to do Joker? What do you say? And you're like, okay, well, I'm in. Incel, shut it down. You can't have anything, dude. Even when they don't make something about Trump's America, Vice is like, Trump's America and how incels are going to murder us all in movie theaters.
And you're like, what?
Come on, man. Can I have something?
Days later, another post ventured the possibility that screenings of Joker could become targets for a shooting. One of the responses was a picture of a man who opened fire on a crowded movie theater
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but James Holmes, I think, is the guy you always laugh at the most when it comes to shooters, because that guy was just a goober.
They were joking, obviously. The people that were posting this were fucking shitposting.
in Aurora,
Of course.
Colorado.
Dude, when you were talking about, how Incel was such a tiny movement starting off, half of those people were shitposting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was 3 actual incels, and the rest of the people jokingly making up phrases like sexual market value and stuff like that, because they were just, it's a fucking goofing around, making fun of you, and it just kills me, man.
2012, during a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises. But incels are expert shitposters, and none of these posts have.
I love that they're taking the term Vice trying to be cool. They're saying shit poster in their little news articles.
They're just lifting things from the people they despise.
Here's some of the memes. They won't be any need to show me the contents of your backpack, sir. Enjoy the movie. And it's Heath Ledger's Joker dressed like a cop. You want a ticket for the Joker film? Just one? These are actually pretty funny.
And none of these posts have been deemed credible threats by law enforcement.
Yeah, because
no shit.
Oh my God, you gotta figure, right? Being like an ethical, by the book FBI agent in 2019 has got to be exhausting, right?
Of course.
Just look at this meme, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. We caught a wiretap yesterday. Somebody wants to blow up the port during the festival down here, the seafood festival, and they want to kill a lot of people with shrapnel and explosives. I'm dealing with that right now. I know, but there's this meme where they put Joker makeup on a frog, and they're complaining that they don't have a girlfriend. Yeah, that's fine. I'll add it to my pile of memes. I'll get to it, I guess.
Still, the NYPD and LAPD are beefing up presence at screenings.
Okay, well, first of all, New York City and LA need to just have fucking armed police in their movie theaters anyway, because those places are shitholes.
Yeah.
All right. Trust me, there have been plenty of stories of movies that cater to different audiences that have had a lot of incidents, Royce, that get criminal.
And they never blame Medea.
Yeah. And as a pun, let me just say that a lot of those incidents tend to be criminally underreported.
Oh, okay.
One major movie theater chain banned masks in response to the threats. Warner Brothers put out a statement saying that Joker is not meant to be seen as a hero.
We can agree there,
So-
right? In 2019, maybe you shouldn't be wearing full face covering masks in movie theaters.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. That's fine.
I can agree with that policy, but they're acting like they should just do it just for this movie, and it's like, no, I'm okay with you just not any kind of public store area. You shouldn't have a face covering mask. I get that, but this is killing me.
So this opens an ongoing debate. Should the entertainment industry be held accountable for real-world violence?
No.
Next end of video.
No.
Yeah. Should we blame Louis C.K. for the fact that you dress like him, lady? No, I'm gonna let it go.
Control advocate.
No, she's dressed like Ricky Gervais. He has like one shirt that he wears all the time.
So
Say
is
that,
Louis. It's always a black T-shirt.
that misses the point. It's not the movies that are to blame, it's an American problem, and Congress's inability to do anything about guns.
I think it's very significant.
This is Igor Volsky, executive director of Guns Down America. So you're going to get a very reasoned response from him. You know what I mean? It's going to be very like down the line and just use stats and stuff.
A clip from some fucking podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
That we're having this conversation in the United States and in the United States alone. The movie is opening all over the world, but only here in America is there the danger and the threat of gun violence. And the reason for that
is the media. You could try to blame guns. Look, they turned us from incel shitposts are making people nervous about the Joker to the end of this video was about it's guns are the problem.
Yeah, get rid of guns.
It's the guns.
Of course.
It's got to be the guns.
And this is done to confuse you. It's done to just kind of jumble it all together, and by the end, you're like, yeah, guns.
And what about the 3 that were fucking stabbed to death? The 3 cops in France that were just stabbed to death. What about them?
Or what about in China where people are stabbed in upwards of 800 people at a time.
And that's just the government.
There are so many people in China that you can stab like 80 of them with one knife in just one stab. They're everywhere. I mean, it's like stepping on roaches in some of my old buildings.
I call it a chink kebab.
is because only here in
Well, I
America.
wouldn't say that. Shane Gillis would say that. And he
Brendan Schaub would say
He should
that.
frankly be ashamed of himself. But congratulations, saying SNL hasn't been good since the 90s. SNL
movie is
died
o-
with Phil Hartman, in my opinion. I think we would all agree there, right?
Blame his wife.
Phil Hartman and Chris Farley. Chris Farley, the fat guy, yeah.
Happening all over the world, but only here in America is there the danger and the threat of gun violence. And the reason for that is
K-Dog goes, the IRA?
because only here in America are firearms so incredibly easy to get.
Joker's
Well, get rid of the Second Amendment. Some gay guy with a podcast is upset.
Yeah. By the way, you think guns are easy to get here. Someone's never been to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Where, yeah, okay, fine, there's not a lot of infrastructure, but I'm pretty sure there's countries in Africa where if you just had like 30 grand, you're like, can I get 3 fixed machine guns, please?
Yep.
Right over here. Thank you.
Do you think it's easy to get guns here? There's literal children in armies there with guns in
Yes.
Africa. So fucking AK-47s around their neck that weigh more than them.
director
Did we ever catch Coney?
He's still doing
Oh,
this
cool.
Todd Phillips is also defending his movie, saying that, well, art is complicated.
Look how she said it. He said, to me, art can be complicated, and oftentimes it's meant to be complicated. But you know what she said? He didn't say well. She put well into that to make it sound. What a little watch.
His movie, saying that, well, art is complicated.
Where in that quote did he say, well, art's complicated? She's been implying art's complicated. Leave me alone.
That's misquoting him. I know.
What he said was, to me, art can be complicated, and oftentimes art is meant to be complicated. If you want uncomplicated art, you might want to take up calligraphy, but filmmaking will always be a complicated art. He didn't go, well, art's complicated. Now let me get back to making my incel movie.
Isn't calligraphy map making?
Yeah.
God, that's a pretty difficult.
I think he was being a dick.
I mean, come on, let's be fair though. Calligraphy was, kind of hard. That's why remember the old maps?
No, I
Like-
think what he means uncomplicated is like when you do calligraphy, you have to do it a certain way. because you're making maps. You can't. There's not an artistic interpretation of
Sorry,
maps.
that's cartography. I'm stupid.
Okay, so then what's calligraphy?
Is that like a spirograph?
I know what it is. It's
it
not
the
a spirograph. It's a fancy cursive.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
It's
calligraphy. I don't know why cartography everybody's like, you fucking idiot. It's cartography. All right. I got it wrong. I'm fucking
Are we
get off
the
my ass.
idiots,
It's
or are
Friday.
you the idiots?
I'm an idiot.
No,
It's
but are
fine.
you the idiots for knowing what cartography is?
Claim to be, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty smart.
You fucking nerds.
Yeah, at least I knew map making started with a C. Could you imagine me trying to bargain to get my points back on Jeopardy?
Look, guys, it's our fault. We've been listening to Brendan Schaub too much. I think it's starting to rub off. Calligraphy is a visual art related to writing. It is designed and execution of lettering with a broad tip instrument or other writing instruments. So yeah, it's like fancy cursive.
Send in the clown.
That's a little on the nose. Good laugh, though. It's a pretty good laugh.
You really got a good laugh.
It's a pretty good. Anyway,
That's got to be the hardest part.
I think the hardest part is being Joaquin Phoenix.
Better than being River Phoenix.
Hold on, is it though?
Yes.
Oh, you sure?
Dead at 20 years old. Yes. Okay. Clearly, yes.
The wrong kid, Dad.
And by the way, I don't even know if he would have been that good if he'd stuck around.
He might not have been.
I think Joaquin was the low-key talented one of the bunch.
Are you saying he killed River? You want to start that rumor?
He gave him a hot dose at the Viper Room.
Yeah.
Fucking Johnny Depp. It's a conspiracy.
Let's do it. Well, all right,
We'll get Sam Tripoli down that road. Johnny Depp got him his heroin that night, okay? All right? Why did he not die? And the guy he got the heroin for didn't die, okay? Think about it, all right?
Connects it to Heath Ledger and the Olsen twins.
That's just the whole conspiracy. Sam Tripoli's tinfoil hat does a fucking 10 episode arc of just a bunch of made up shit, and then they all just come out and go, no, that didn't happen that way. All right. Well, thanks for coming on my podcast.
Someone says if River didn't die in 94, he would have died in 95.
That's one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard.
Very good.
That is one that's going to get reused in this community. That's hilarious. There are certain people like that, though, when you think about, dude, it's so tragic, man. You think about that one night, man, that one fateful night when Chris Farley died, and you could be like, dude, if he didn't die in 94, he would have died in 95. What are we talking about here?
Nick Knack, $20. Just gave $20. Billy Neutz, $1. I cast Clean Your Room, Bucko. Okay, that he was the Jordan Peterson Dungeons and Dragons.
I've rolled a bloody 10.